All right. Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to another impromptu Pandoran Hangout live stream. Like always, I'm joined here by Robin. How you doing, Robin?
I'm very good. How are you today?
Good, good. And it's actually, you finally got some new info. So, actually,
It's
really excited.
starting.
Yeah.
It's
So
coming. It's
it
coming.
should be a good one. It should be a good one. Finally, the drought is semi over. Yeah. So yeah, guys, we have the first installment of Empire Magazine's what they're calling Path to Pandora series, which beginning with
Yes.
the magazine that came out, I believe earlier today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, every month they will have a new, piece of coverage in their magazines under this banner where we'll get more new images, new information in the Q&As that they're doing in there. So it's going to be tons of fun. We now have at least one set thing a month where we're going to get new info and new images. So that's super exciting, Robin.
I'm very excited for this.
We were actually just saying I think a day before they announced it, we were like, man, we just wish we had something like an ongoing comic series, something that was
Manifested.
at least once a month we got some type of new information. You know what I mean?
It would hurt us.
And AY has heard us, and here we go with Snake Eyes, like always, with the howdy partners. You don't know how much I've missed that over the holiday season, the new year. This is our first howdy partners of 2025, Robin.
That's gonna be my next tattoo actually. Howdy partners.
Oh god, you gotta have a cowboy hat on top of the word howdy with the lasso enveloping the word partner. Your tattoo. That is sick. Snake Eyes, thanks for being here literally any time we go live. It's
I
amazing.
think you are our number one viewer.
Yeah, always mowing the lawn. I love it. Uh,
Always mowing the lawn.
Dino Shark, I see you, fellas. Well, we see
Hi,
you,
Dino Short.
and we are going to see this Path to Pandora article and images that we're going to fully dissect. It should be
I am
probably
so
like
excited.
the most comprehensive that has been out there so far. So I'm really excited to bring that. Sinbaja says just got done watching the newest video.
Ah, great
Yep,
timing.
yep. Where I announced it was a little video announcing that Empire was doing this, and this we were gonna fully dive in today, as well as. Or do you mean the video titled "Does Norm have 12 kids"?
Damn, who came up with that title? Jeez.
That was a fun video to make. That was awesome. Let's see. They also say a comic leading into this movie would be so fire. Wow, I see what you did there. I see you. But yes, it would
Mhm.
be. It would actually be really interesting. To do like a little. They kind of tried to do that with the high ground, but they
Yeah.
ended up having so many delays and everything that it just didn't actually work out.
Mhm.
But yeah, they kind of tried, and maybe they'll try again. We never know.
Hopefully.
But yeah, Snake Eye says right now I'm at work, but I'm leaving right now. Good. Now you can fully enjoy our show. Uh, let's see. All right, let's so let's start diving in, Robin, into
Yes.
this article, and we got 4 images. We'll save the images for the end. We'll completely go through the article first, and
So I
so we
haven't
will.
looked.
You haven't really looked at it.
No, not a lot. Very generally, because I wanted to save for this. So there's going to be some things that I don't know yet, which is great.
Sounds good. I've just skimmed it a little bit, but I try to just make the slides without fully reading it 100%. So yeah, gonna be. I'm really pumped for this. So let's start, and we will go through the article. We'll maybe interact with the chat again after that. We're gonna try to stay on
Yeah.
topic, and then we'll analyze the 4 pictures, and then a little bit more chat before we end up getting out of here. So leave your comments and questions, and we'll get to them after we fully dive into the article here. So let's begin with our first slide. So it says, ready to go back. We've learned the way of water. Now James Cameron is turning up the heat with Avatar, Fire, and Ash.
And just look at that image.
Yeah, and we'll fully analyze that after we go through the article. But I think we already have a lot to say about the image and
Yeah.
about another element. um. So yeah, all right. And this is by Nick, who got to interview James Cameron. So let's continue to dive in then. He says, when Empire is patched into a Zoom with James Cameron, it's on December 18th, 15 years to the day since Avatar was first released. But he's not marking the occasion with blue balloons or a Tulkun shaped cake. Wow, that would be huge. He's got the follow up to the most successful movie in history, plus the third most successful movie in history, keeping him busy. He says, oh, good point. I didn't even realize that milestone was upon us. He says, I've spent the last 3 days pulling all nighters, getting the film ready to screen for Disney, dealing with the sound and all that, getting all perfectionist nerdy about the presentation. Even 12 months out from release, Cameron is working overtime on making sure Fire and Ash scorches our faces off.
I love that.
He's taken an hour out of his schedule, though, to give Empire the world's first extensive interview on the biggest cinematic event of 2025, kicking off a year of unprecedented coverage in which we'll be charting the creation of the film throughout every issue. He tells us how he's changing the game on Pandora.
This is great. Wow.
That's a great just little introduction there before we even get to the Q&A really. Right, just analyzing this right here, I love that we're doing this. I love that for 12 months, 12 issues, we literally will have a new interview. It might be, I wonder if it's going to be different, crew members, maybe cast and crew, like, one issue.
That'd be great.
One issue can maybe be interviewing Zoe Saldana for the full thing, or yeah, it'd be great. So right now you get the overview one with James Cameron. So yeah, that's the question I have. Will it always be James Cameron, or like that? Will we kind of mix it up and get some different?
You might mix it up.
And maybe when it is, a certain actor, so it's more of a deep dive into their particular character, and we learn more information. So, I would be really, like you said, really into that Una Chaplin one if we get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome. All right, let's fully begin. So what shape is the film in? It's in strong shape, I think. I feel really good about it, at least on a scene-by-scene basis. I haven't watched it myself from end to end in about a year, and the last time it made me want to vomit.
Oh.
But that's always a good reaction. The first time you screen a film for yourself, because then you get really rigorous and disciplined about making it work. We've doubled the number of shots finished at this stage of the game than we had on movie 2, and the films are about equal length. So that puts us well ahead of the curve, which is something I've never frankly experienced before. It's always a last-minute freaking nightmare on these films with a million details. It's a little bit less nightmarish. We're getting to the point where we're actually getting good at this. Follows up with nausea, but not nightmarish. Sounds like a decent place to be in. Look, there's no baby born without labor. Just some labors are not as severe as others.
That's a great quote.
Oh man. Initially reading that I was like, no, it made me want to vomit. I was like, no, don't.
No, but that's.
He explained it. I like how he explained that.
I think any type of strong reaction is a very positive thing, because if you don't react to a film, then I think the film is very boring. So even if it's going to be horrific, I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And I like we get the, he says they're kind of going to be equal length, so we can expect now sort of, around that close to 3 hour mark.
Yeah.
Length of this movie as well. and that he's
That's
actually
amazing.
about to present it to Disney, and
That's wow.
that he actually was able to see a rough cut since like a year ago. I'm like, I'm so
That's
jealous.
wild. No, but I think it's because, you know, most efforts go into post-production as well, or a
Yeah,
lot of efforts at least, so it does make sense. You probably watched the very Minecrafty version of it.
yeah, like the rough animatic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Me too. Me too.
All right, he continues. You've set the bar in Hollywood for sequels, but this is your first threequel. Does it feel different? I was involved creatively on Terminator Dark Fate, and that obviously didn't work out so well. But as a director, this is my first threequel. The long play bet here is that we get people to care more about the characters than about the shock of the new. Each of the two
Ooh.
films that people have seen already, the promise was we're going to show you new environments, new creatures, new species, and you're going to just inhabit a world. And we fulfilled that promise. The shift going into 3 is yeah, there'll be plenty of new things to enjoy, but our focus really is on the characters, the through line of their story. It's a different kind of engagement with the audience. And obviously, we're betting a lot of money that it will work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I like that. I like that he's saying that. You know, like we're still gonna get those elements, but I like
Hmm.
it's not really just about, like you said, the shock and awe of of that new stuff, the new environments, the new
Yeah.
species. I like that his focus is okay, but what does this mean for the characters? I love that this is a character-driven saga. You know, whereas a lot of people, you know, have criticized it for that. Especially when
Hmm.
it was just the first film, it's all about like, oh, it's pretty, it's visually appealing, well,
Yeah.
but they're like, but there's no substance. Well, now I love that the substance is actually the focus. What does this mean for the characters, all that. So I actually love that take on it. What about you?
Yeah, me too. I think it allows us to emotionally connect to the storyline and the characters even more, which is going to prepare us for, you know, what the next films after that is going to be and the kind of odyssey they will go on inevitably. And we're going to be able to do that with so much emotion and so much bonding to them. So I
Exactly.
think it's great.
We continue. The title Fire and Ash seems to speak to an amped up emotional intensity. The Solis were left devastated by the Way of Water's final act. The exact quote, which is in the voiceover, is the fire of hate gives way to the ash of grief.
Wow.
Wow, that's a great line. So we'll come back to that. I think what commercial Hollywood doesn't do well is deal with grief the way human beings really deal with it.
That's
Characters
true.
get killed off, and then in the next movie, everybody's happy again. I've lost a lot of people, friends, and family members over the last 6 or 8 years. It doesn't
Mm.
work that way. It also doesn't make you so mad that you're going to become an army of one and gun up and kill all those motherfuckers. Pardon my French. Which is another Hollywood trope. It makes you just kind of depressed and messed up. I'm not saying our movie's depressed and effed up. I'm just saying that I think we deal with that part of life quite honestly. The Sully's journey continues in a very naturalistic, novelistic way. I've sort of thought of this next cycle, meaning 3, 4, and 5, as how they continue to process the things that happen to them. Now, of course, they're not human, but this is a movie for us, by us, right? Science fiction is always just a big mirror of the human condition. What are your
Well,
first thoughts?
they may not be human, but they're very very emotional beings as well. So I think in many ways they're reflections of us.
Exactly. That's exactly what he seems like he's trying to say, and that's what a lot of sci-fi is. It's just a big mirror to just natural, human elements that we deal with on a day to day, just on
Yeah,
this other scale that makes it seem, you know, uh, like out there, but it's really not when you really get to the basis of it. So I love, once again, he's just saying like everything I really want to hear in terms of like he's saying here with the characters and the Sully's journey. They just literally lost a child. That's something that's going to carry over 3, 4, and 5. And I feel we're going to lose even more, is what I really feel like is going to happen here as well.
Sure, yeah.
He says the line, characters get killed off. So could happen. I mean, obviously he was talking about like in normal Hollywood, but I think it's not just going to be loss that we're going to feel. So
I think he's really trying to say that grief is taking a center stage. And although, the loss of Metkayina is incredibly significant for many characters, I think the way that he's talking about it is pointing to something even more significant, which is the loss of more bigger characters or important characters.
Yeah.
Or maybe their companions, like animals or something like that. Or homes. You can grieve for homes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Your like you said, your home, your environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's very real. Like you said, it's a big mirror. I mean, what's going on right now here in the United States, in the LA area. I mean, so
Yeah.
our thoughts are to everybody that's literally lost what you just said, their homes to literally
absolutely.
a fire. This theme of fire and ash, most people are actually going to really live it this year. Having to build up again from the ground up from the ashes. So
it's gonna be really, really significant.
Yes. And back to that exact quote he says from the voiceover. So this is a exact quote we're going to hear in that initial voiceover, which is awesome. The fire of hate gives way to the ash of grief. That's a crazy good line.
I'm letting that one sink in a little bit. Wow. That's beautiful.
I wonder if that initially means, obviously the first thing you want to do is lash out. He kind of even gives the example, in the traditional movies, that's what they do. You become a one-man army, kind of lash out to everybody that's wronged you. But it maybe means that all it is, what's left at the end of that, all it was just grief. It was a way that you handled grief. Maybe it wasn't the perfect way. So maybe we'll see some characters with, with what happened to Neytiri, as he said, this is going to be character-centric. Maybe some don't initially deal with it right. Maybe it's all hatred and lashing out, but at the end of the day, all it was like, it was just grief, pain, so.
I actually have some thoughts about Varang on this as well, but we can dissect that after.
Okay.
But I think grief may relate to her too.
Yeah. All right, let's continue here. In this film, you're introducing another clan of Na'vi, the Ash people, with a leader named Varang. I don't want to say too much about her, he said. But what I can say is that Una Chaplin, who plays her, is so good that I didn't quite appreciate how good her performance is until we got the Weta animation back. At a certain point, the nuance and detail of the performance suddenly popped to full life. She was absolutely precise in every word, every gesture, every eye movement. She's an enemy, an adversarial character, but Chaplin makes her feel so real and alive.
Wow.
Followed up with, what else can you say about the Ash people? Varang is the leader of a people who have gone through an incredible hardship. She's hardened by that. She will do anything for them, even things that we would consider to be evil. One thing we wanted to do in this film is not be black and white simplistic, or blue and pink simplistic. From the Na'vi perspective, all humans are pink. They call them pink skins, and they're not discriminating between light brown, dark brown, pink, whatever. So there's a racism element from the Na'vi perspective that we introduce. We're trying to evolve beyond the all humans are bad, all Na'vi are good paradigm.
Yeah.
So it's your first thoughts on any of these two paragraphs here?
I love the blue and pink thing. That's great. I'm trying to let it sink in a little bit because I have a lot of thoughts about, especially when they're referring, or when James Cameron is referring to incredible hardship. I have some thoughts about that I already shared with you as well, which I think might refer to something like a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
But we can get into that when we're talking about the images as well.
No problem. I think here, I think what it's going to be, I mean, this is just obvious guess. This is just a guess. That
Yes.
our two groups, like this antagonistic group that we see here led by, Una Chaplin's Varang, and our protagonist that we have followed.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like you said, they suffered their own hardship. She got hardened by it. It's kind of like two groups going through the stages of grief, and they've dealt with things, like we said, that they've probably she probably held on to that hate and like the bad way of dealing with it, and we're gonna be confronted with that, and who knows if it maybe changes the perspectives of our protagonists, if maybe initially that's how they want to react. But I think that's how you can look at it, like, look, this is what it can do to you if you let it, but you can rise above and deal with grief in this way over here. Maybe it's just two different sides of the same coin.
That's a great way to look at it. Wow. Yeah, because so the thoughts that I'm having about her possible motivations behind doing things that we would consider evil is, for example, if they did go through a volcanic eruption and say that severed them from Ewa, maybe there's some resentment towards Ewa, because that's an emotion that happens a lot with grief, right? Resentment.
Exactly.
And maybe she's projecting that onto Ewa because we've seen her fly the creature without a kuru, which is wild. So I'm very curious to see how that type of stuff will translate, and how obviously she's going to handle the emotions differently from say the Metkayina. But yeah, this is a lot of stuff to unpack.
I know this is a lot.
I can keep going.
I know, right? And just very end here, before obviously, like you said, in the images we can give even more thoughts. The fact that they're going to introduce this little element here where it seems like her group is going to be the ones that bring up this term pink skins to refer to humans. That's going to be an interesting, like you said, little element where it's just to kind of drill in, like you said, we're getting away from that paradigm of like all humans are bad and all the Na'vi are good. They now will have, there's a group of them that now have their own discriminating, racism element towards humans as well. So that's going to be, and that's an interesting little thing that they've added there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's continue here. What other new elements of Pandora will we see? It says, early on in Fire and Ash, we meet a group called the Wind Traders. They're nomadic traders equivalent to the camel caravans of the Spice Road back in the Middle Ages. And they're just fun. Like all Na'vi, they live in a symbiosis with their creatures. One is the Medusoid, like a jellyfish, able to generate hydrogen gas. They're kind of giant, living soap bubbles, 500 feet tall. The Wind Traders have coupled them with this other creature, the Wind Ray, which uses this kind of stingray-like sinusoidal motion to propel itself around. It's kind of like a tugboat or a tow vehicle. We show that feeling of the crew pushing off and getting the journey started, catching the wind, all that stuff. If you got any nautical blood in your veins, you'll want to be on that ship.
Wow. Oh my god, this is getting me so excited.
Start the Pirates of the Caribbean song right now.
Oh my god.
Zoe Saldana actually has a little cameo in the first Pirates movie. That's funny.
Oh yes, that's so true.
Yeah. What say you? Um, hey, hey, I got a nautical blood. I love it. I love, pirate ships. So
Hmm.
that's gonna be awesome. I didn't even really think about it in that way until he just said it. That's what it kind of could seem like. It's literally like a fleet of pirate
Like
ships,
pushing.
and then
Yeah, it
yeah,
is a
like
fleet. You're right.
crew pushing off, getting the journey started, just how you push off into the water. He says catching the wind and all that stuff. That's going to be an
Oh,
awesome element. Like he said,
you know,
it's a mirror to look something as simple as we think of, like, ships, pirate ships on water. This
the
is just
elevation.
fantastical because it's basically ships but in the air because of these two creatures
Yeah.
that we now got named. The Medusoid is the giant one, and the wind ray, which is like the stingray, the the wind ray, here's your unobtainium name all over again. Uh, is
I
the
like it though.
one that's pulling it along. I like it. It's
You know what? It makes sense they're calling it a wind ray because I'm sure obviously the Napfi name is going to be different.
hmm
And the way that the humans have been naming
yeah,
creatures in that universe is can be really ignorant sometimes, so it actually makes a lot of sense they would call it a wind ray. I like
yeah,
Medusoid though, that's crazy.
yeah. That one, yeah, and it fits what people thought it was going to be called, or they had
Yeah.
at some point been called in the old concept arts and things like that, like the Medusa. Um,
Yes.
Now it's just like the Medusoid, so that's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
All
me
right,
too.
so yeah, I'm excited to see more about the Wind Traders. Hopefully, another a future path to Pandora. Kind of, we can dive in a little more to them. Um, I wonder what actors might be. Uh, there is that one guy. He's been announced, and it's been announced that he
That
will
was
play
that.
a Navi character. He was a professor in the Harry Potter series. I think he's the one that becomes like a werewolf. Do you remember that one?
I do not know.
Well, yeah, well, that actor has been announced, and I always thought maybe he was going to be part of the antagonist. But now that we
Hmm.
focus really a lot on Varang and Una Chaplin, I wonder if this other actor that they have announced, he's going to be more like the leader of the Wind Trade or a big deal in the Wind Traders. So that's my guess right now. So
Yeah. I'm
keep
trying to
that
look it up, but
in the guess jar.
uh I'm trying to pull it up. Did you remember their name? Like
I think
the
he was
actor's name?
Professor. Was he Professor? I'm not a big Harry Potter, but Professor Lupin, or what was his
Oh,
name?
really?
Oh,
Okay.
let me see.
Um,
Yeah, that
there's
guy.
a
Yeah.
um. So I found a Reddit post and it talks about Una Chaplin, Michelle Yeoh. I don't know how to
Yeah, Michelle
say
Yeoh.
his name.
Yeah,
Yo. Okay.
she'll be RDA.
Um. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's RDA human.
And David uh
Yeah,
Thewlis?
his name is David Thewles. Yeah, and he
Is
played.
that who?
Yeah, he played Professor Lupin in Harry Potter. He becomes like a wolf, like a werewolf. So that actor has been announced that his character is going to be a Navi, but that's all we know. We know the actor and
I'm
that he
very
plays
curious
a Navi,
then.
but that's my guess is that he's actually going to be a Wind Trader. So that's my guess.
Mhm. Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
But yeah.
He has
All
a
right.
face for it. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Almost done with the article. Almost done. All right. The way of water shifted focus somewhat away from the humans and the RDA. Is it fair to say they'll be coming back in force? Oh yeah. Now they're not only after unobtainium, they're after I
Told ya.
never how do they
I'm
pronounce this
Rida.
name?
I'm Rida.
Emrida? Okay.
That's how I'm saying it. Yeah.
The priceless liquid extracted from dead Tulkun, which has the power to stop
I told
humans
you.
aging. I think that's a we'll come back to that. Um,
Yes.
so Emrida is driving their economy, and General Ardmore, played by Edie Falco, is essentially running the whole thing under military rule in the grand tradition of the colonial era. where the military is really just corporate security writ, like writ large. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a sort of colonial era metaphor where the British and the French are using some of the indigenous tribes as allies against other indigenous tribes. Okay, we'll come back to that. You start to see that taking place in movie 3. It's very much a colonial era, just an interstellar version of it. I'm kind of a history buff, and history has this annoying tendency of repeating itself if you don't pay attention to it. That is very interesting.
I've been saying this for so long that I think somehow Emrita is going to be involved with maybe the Ash Clan helping humans attack the Metkayina to like hunt the Tulkun down.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for so long. Oh my god.
I think what we can kind of debunk a little bit in our theory that you had
Uh-huh.
shared on social media is
Yes.
maybe the Ash Clan themselves wanting the Amrita. Like you said, it
Well,
seems like it's mostly for because it says that this has which has the power to stop humans aging. I think the fact
mm-hmm.
that they added humans, it means it probably doesn't stop Navi from
Well,
aging because I
that
think
doesn't
they would.
mean that there's. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it could still be. I'm just maybe some some clues here that maybe it works on the human body different than it would the Navi body. So maybe this is why it's so priceless to the humans and the RDA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could still be that even if a Navi does consume it, that it also stops them from aging. But maybe it only affects humans that way. That would be very curious for us to
Interesting
see
take. Yeah.
forward. Yeah. And yeah, the fact like you said that it literally kind of confirms here that that Tuna chaplains of Varang and the Ash Clan are going to be working for or just with the RDA. So here
Mm-hmm.
there we go. It's kind of like a confirmation of that.
Yeah. So maybe what if the Ash people are helping humans hunt down the Tulkun, not because they want the Amrita, that's just what the human motivation is.
Yeah.
But they maybe they have a different motivation. Maybe they have Ikran has a grudge or something like that, or maybe there's history. Maybe there's something else, or maybe Amrita has a different type of like it does something different to them, different type of value. We don't know, but they definitely seem to be working together, or at
Yeah.
least we know that Quaritch is very involved with them.
Exactly. And it could be like you said something as simple as grudge where they could just see it
Yeah.
like, hey, you'll give us, because they're not following the rules of AWA. um they're obviously using metal, they're using weapons, they're using
Yeah.
all that stuff, they don't care. So
Maybe.
maybe their benefit from this is not only like actual weapons, but like you said, a grudge. It can be simple as a grudge where they're like you said still resentful for whenever this devastation happened or whatever hardship they went through. I think they just blame every other clan. Maybe they feel like their backstory is kind of like
Ooh.
they just feel wronged. That we had even theorized before when we were going over Taruk the First Flight that
Mm-hmm.
they're basically the antithesis to what happened in Taruk the First Flight, which is where the Tree
Yeah.
of Souls was threatened by a volcano. But that's the story where it had a happy ending, and we discovered the first Taruk Makto and Entu and all that. Theirs was they didn't get a hero that saved the day at the end. The volcano actually destroyed it. Theirs is like what would have happened if it did, and maybe they
Mm-hmm.
just feel a grudge to the forest people and all these other clans that kept prospering and thrived while they literally are living in the um freaking the outlands or whatever you called it in the freaking Lion King.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
what
yeah.
is the cause of grief, right? It's loss of love.
Mhm.
So what if at some point, this is a crazy thought I'm just throwing out there. What if at some point they were maybe allies or even one clan somehow? maybe very, 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 very long time ago, or just allies,
Yeah.
because they do look physically very different. And there was a threat like a volcanic eruption, and there was a way to save them, but to save themselves, maybe the Metkayina went like, nope. Or maybe they knew where the Turuk was, because last time it was the Turuk that helped them, right, with
Yeah.
a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
And maybe somehow that didn't work, and maybe they do still have that grudge. We don't know.
Exactly. I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of possibilities there, and it's
There
kind
is,
of
yeah.
painting a clearer picture now a little bit. So this is good. This is good, and this is just the first one of this path to Pandora, and it's already a lot of stuff are kind of like images are getting a little more unblurry, if that's the way to say it.
Sharper and sharper.
So let's see. This is the last one. So finally, what's exciting you most about this movie 1 year out? What I'm excited about is to take the audience into places they won't expect, but that will feel earned. Yeah, we've
Ooh.
got some really clever action set pieces. You can get your blood up in this movie. But what excites me as an artist who recently turned 70 and has kind of done all that stuff is not only the opportunity to get to do it again, but to get to a level of character and intrigue you haven't seen before in an Avatar movie. The original was a story that encourages cultural immersion and truly seeing other people, other ways of life, other ways of thought, and we don't lose any of that. We're just starting to riff on it and twist it and turn it. It's a tricky thing. We could be getting high on our own supply here, and everybody who looks at it goes, uh, "Fuck, that's not what I signed up for." But if you're not making brave choices, you're wasting everybody's time and money. That alone is not sufficient to create success, but it's necessary. You've got to break the mold every freaking time.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
That is our breakdown of the article to the first Path of Pandora. That was
That was
great.
great. Oh my god, there's so much information in there.
Oh man. Actually, let me bring up that last one again. Let's see. From here, pretty much this, and we kind of had gotten a little twist on this before, where he says, especially with 3, it's gonna go where we're not expecting. I think we've heard that before. I think maybe
Mm-hmm.
like D23 or something like that.
Yeah.
But that it's gonna feel earned. So I'm excited to go along for the ride. Like he said, as long as it feels earned, I don't care what twists and turns they do, as long
Mm-hmm.
as we're behind the characters, we're invested, and that's what he has said in this article. At least is their goal to get you
Yeah.
to be more involved, more behind the characters, the ones we know, and possibly even some that we don't know. Really maybe invested also in Varang and her, her story and her clan, and maybe David Fools, about our theory, my theory,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wind Traders, and how even the RDA and how this all mixes together, and that we're just going to be along for the ride. So I can't wait to see what these twists and turns are going to be.
Yeah, me too. Me too. There's already so much information in this article alone, like a few slides back, um, about the creature, about
Yeah,
the Medusoids.
yeah,
There is he kind of got into a little bit how that works and why it can float. But that's just so fascinating to me.
exactly. But let's before we break down the 4 images, let's just see what you guys have said really
Oh
quickly.
yeah, right. I forgot that we're live.
Let's see. Let's see. Drew Manning. Sorry, I'm late to the stream, but thank you for covering this. The Fire and Ash hype begins. Indeed, Drew. The Fire and Ash hype has finally officially begun. Yeah, we haven't even said that. We're officially in the year 2025 that Fire and Ash releases. So this is going to be really exciting. And like we just talked about before, we didn't anticipate that we would have much material before what, like April? because April is when I think
Mhm.
the trailer is going to debut at CinemaCon, just the teaser. But I'm glad that even these months before that, we do have some content like we just read today.
Yes.
Let's see. Snake Eye says, "Damn, James Wright said MF. He indeed does. He used to actually swear a heck of a lot more when he was younger. You would see a lot of those behind the scenes where he's just cussing at Arnold, sort of cussing at Arnold. Can you imagine that? Oh man. Let's see. Nightfall. I think it would be a neat if grief played a huge part in Took's character arc. Maybe she starts to train a weapon
Oh.
like a bow in secret. That's actually a great point.
Oh.
Took has kind of
Wow.
right now been kind of like the forgotten, not the forgotten child, but kind of like the one that
Oh
has
my
the
god.
spotlight on her. Where
That's true.
water was mostly Netayam and Loak, but now that Netayam's gone, it really is Loak and Took. And as the saga progresses and we get time jumps, yeah, how's this journey going to affect her? That's actually a great thought, Nightfall. Thank you for sharing that.
Wow. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Oh, it continues. Then her mom catches her and finds out the reason is doing this is because she felt too weak to save her family. Like maybe she holds some guilt in Netayam dying when he saved her. That's once again, you're 2 for 2. That's a great thought.
Wow.
Um, Sinbaja or Sinbaha. Sorry if I mispronounce it. So glad you guys are doing this. Thank you, and I'm glad we're doing this because this is fun, and especially sharing these types of information dumps or lore dumps with all you guys in the chat is really fun. We have
Yeah.
over 200 across all social medias, so thank
Oh,
you
hi
guys
guys.
for being here. If you guys want to comment, of course, can't do it through Instagram, but we don't see them here. But you can do it through Twitter or if you're up on our YouTube live video right now. Let's see. Where are you getting these photos of the Empire issue from? I actually have the issue, and I got these photos myself. I screenshotted the Empire issue, so that's how I put this together. Let's see. Nightfall makes a lot of sense that Quaritch would be using a tribe against Jake. History has shown that if you fight an enemy on their own home turf, you're destined to suffer. Wow. And they had said early on, even before 2 came out, Robin, that Quaritch, we would see him continue to go more and more native, as they said,
Yeah.
as the sequels progress. And now we kind of
Yeah.
see we're probably going to start seeing the start of it. Um, we saw hints of it in Way of Water, hints of
A
it as
little. A little.
getting acclimated a little bit. But I think with this tribe, he's going to be like we had theorized, kind of like that flip of the Jake and Neytiri and Jake and the Metkayina. He's going to have
Hmm.
like a twisted version of that. Him and Varang can have their own story, and he might go more and more native and really feel that he's a part of their clan, and who knows what that could lead to in the future. We could always theorize that about that later.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting.
uh, but yeah, let's go to analyzing more of or actually the 4 images that we got with this first path to Pandora. And our first one, of course, is that, like you said, the glorious first one there. And obviously, these are by Dylan Cole. He's my favorite, concept artist when it comes to, Avatar. They're just amazing. He kind of does it for the movies, even the theme park, like the new theme park concept art we've seen. It's that's still Dylan Cole, and he's a co-production designer. So yeah, it's great to see that. Um, so here we go, and this one says concept art of the Ash Warriors riding Ikran, Varang in the center in the thick of the action. A lot to take away from this one. What are your initial thoughts?
Whoa, is my initial thought. Um, that creature is just we've seen it before, obviously in different concept art, but now we can get a very different angle of it.
Yeah,
Um, and it's insane. It's beautiful. There's also a lot of details, like for example, um, I'm correct, there is Quaritch in the corner.
It looks like it, yeah, definitely does.
And that is wild to me as well.
Looks like Waynfleet in the back. I mean, it could just be a random Ash Clan warrior number 5, but kind of looks like Waynfleet, you know, the to her left, I guess you would say, you know, kind of holding up the gun. Kind of seems like
oh, you know what?
Waynfleet, you know, but
you know what I just discovered?
Huh.
So I'm on the website right now, on Empire's website.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the concept art from here because I'm not looking at the ones shared in the issue itself.
Okay.
This is just, I think this was the article where they were announcing that they were going to be saying this, like showing all of this.
Yeah.
And the Natfi on the right, that is Quaritch in your image, is a completely different Natfi in my image. So I think they were, yeah.
Because here I have the image that you shared, that we shared on our socials yesterday. Is this one here that I have full screen? You see him right above that one?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I see it, and that's a very different thing that I'm looking at right now.
Because even in the one I have in the actual article, it's still the same one, and you're seeing a completely different writer.
Yeah. I'm gonna screenshot it and then send it to you.
Okay, I'll have to add that to the stream really quick once I get that. That's that. Okay, that's breaking right here. I don't think anybody else has called that out. So because I'm hearing that for the first time. Great eye on that.
Keep going. I'll make sure I'll get this screenshot to you.
Another thing is we got this image during the D23, but we didn't get the full thing like we are now. And so to see like also the bottom wings just like that, it looks great. And it's funny because now I can't get it out of my head. Off stream, you had mentioned before, you're like that your dad looked at it and he's like, he kind of called it an X-wing.
Yes.
Now I'm like, dude, all I see is the Pandoran version of Star Wars X-wing. That's what this is. This is the Pandoran X-wing. But obviously, the big thing, we can confirm that they are flying by the Cove of the Ancestors, obviously close to the Metkayina from the Way of Water. Whereas we kind of guessed it in the other one, but like I said, we didn't get the full image before. But now we do see the full, you know, the complete ring shapes, and it's the Cove of Ancestors. So that's another big thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Let's see. The other detail I had mentioned to you, and I think you said you figured out what that shape was. Right there where they say the path to Pandora, you have the A.
Yes.
There has to be a significance to that shape, because that's just a random. I mean, it could just been a random shape that they did, but actually, before you really say what you think it is, I think I'm going to put my own guess as well. Now looking at it, guys, if people in the chat, what do you think it is? But I'm gonna say right now, but leave your thought right now. Looking at it, look at Varang, look at that image. Look at Varang, look at that image.
That's what I'm saying.
That kind of looks like Varang's headpiece.
Doesn't it? I know.
Yeah, that shape, and it's only a little wider where the A is at, because obviously the A is wide, so it has to have like a wider middle. But she has that middle gap right there on top of her head. So it does share that gap. I told you I thought maybe it was, and it could still be. I was like, maybe that's their clan. You know, every clan has like a little symbol. I was like, I wonder if this is the shape of their clan symbol. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. That is their clan symbol because it is the shape of, Varang's headpiece. But yeah, that's what it looks like to me. What do you guys think in the chat? And you said that's the guess that you had?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking as well. First, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like a little volcano above in Empire every month.
Yeah.
Like just the shape of that. And then I was like, wait a minute, because those points, that looks exactly like her headpiece. So maybe that means that her headpiece is a little bit more significant than just a headpiece.
Yeah. So like we said, we didn't really know what that headpiece is. I think we still don't really know what it is, but I love the shape, I love the look, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what that shape on that thing represents. But we could obviously be wrong, but that's just my observation here. All right. Anything else you'd like to bring up here, or move on to the next image?
We can move on. I'm still trying to get that screenshot to you.
Okay, and you'll send it on Insta.
Instagram. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I just checked. I was like, there's nothing there.
No, not yet.
Just let me know. All right. So I will go, and this is our first of the behind the scenes images. And what I see here, obviously, you got James Cameron there, and it's titled Cameron and Stephen Lang Prep a Scene. But what it looks like to me is that this is the Ash Clan, because the guy right to Stephen Lang's left, it says Andrew, and I could zoom in on, obviously on mine, but we can't zoom in here. But it says Andrew, Ash, Male. So in between Andrew and Male, there's a little paper that says Ash on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Ash Clan. We've seen them with these huge weapons, rockets. I don't know what they are. These could just be staffs. But this seems like Quaritch being brought before Varang. So probably over here off screen, maybe you do have Una Chaplin as Varang kind of looking down at Stephen Lang. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think if I go back to what the concept art they gave us about the Ash Clan, let's where are you? Where art thou? Here you go. This seems like this could be it. You see what I mean? Bringing Quaritch up to Varang.
Oh, for sure.
They'll drop
Looks
him down to his
exactly like
knees.
it.
They got the big weapons, the rifles, the staffs, whatever. I think this is it.
Mm-hmm. I think
But
so
yeah.
too. I just sent the image to you, by the way, on Instagram, so
Okay.
you should be able to see it.
All right. Cool. I'll go get that and load it right up. But yeah, that's what I see from that one. I don't really know if there's anything else to deduce from that. Anything you get from it, or that's pretty much it.
Not really. That's what I was thinking as well.
Okay. Let me transition to the other concept art, which obviously we've seen, of course, which is this beautiful image here. And it's a little different to the one that we saw from D23. Now you can really confirm that it is, them flying, by the reef, the Metkayina reefs and all that,
Yes.
or just, reef villages in general. And it's titled Concept Art of the Wind Traders. Their ships powered by 2 aquatic Pandoran beasts. And now, obviously, we know the names. So, what do you think about these while I load the image?
Well, what I think is really interesting is that we kind of got an insight now as to how they're floating. Because that was something that I was really curious about. Like, how are these massive, massive creatures just flying in the air like that?
Yeah.
Because obviously they look like hot air balloons, but they're alive and they're creatures. So knowing now, I believe it was like a certain type of gas that they produce, so that they can fly like bubbles or something like that.
Yeah.
And then one thing I keep finding incredibly fascinating is the tendrils on the bottom, and the fact that they're using 2 creatures. But this looks like something they've been doing for a long time, obviously. Something that's been part of their culture for a while. And I wonder, I don't think this is going to be, I mean, I don't know. But my guess is that this is not going to be covered in a movie. But I really wonder how they tamed them and why, and which Navi decided that was a good idea. That just saw one of them float around and then
a real smart wind trader Navi that concocted this whole thing. We can get this. You've seen those medusoids, right? Like, well, we put that in the back. It lifts it up. Well, how are we gonna pull it? Well, you seen the wind rays, right? Well, obviously they got the Navi name, right? But you seen the wind rays, right? There you go, bro. Attach it. Make it look where when somebody sees it, is that organic? Is that artificial? Who cares? We can get across. It's a pirate ship, bro. So there you go.
And It reminds me of the Flying Dutchman.
Oh god.
It
Oh,
really does.
the Flying Dutchman. Oh man. Just have somebody playing that damn organ. Oh man. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, that was my favorite part of the movies. I loved when they went up against my god, what was his name? What was his name again? The antagonist, the tentacle guy?
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember.
I'm like, what the heck? I always knew the name.
You'll get to it.
Okay, yeah. Not important, not important. Yeah, I now see I'm uploading because I had to go and find the article myself because yours, it ended up like we couldn't really see it that well. I ended up zooming
It's
in.
Instagram, yeah.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
Instagram.
that's Instagram. It's all blurry as heck there all the time. So I went and I zoomed in myself, took a screenshot. So I'm uploading it now, guys. And you
But
are
did you
right.
see it?
It does. Let me see. Let me
That
put
is
it
a
up.
different Navi. Because look at the face paint, and then look at the hair. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
yep.
totally a different Navi.
It's a totally different like art. It could just be, it was a different pass on the art. But let me make it there real
Maybe
quick.
could this be the version that they kind of have released at D23, but they didn't want to spoil anything about Quaritch? So this is like a safe version of it, and then
Yeah, that could be.
now they're spoiling. Like now they're feeding us stuff.
Yeah, let me make it really quick. Let me put up really quick while I do that the last of the new behind the scenes images that we got, and
Yeah.
which is this one right here. Once again, James Cameron,
Oh, I have thoughts.
like a badass. So go ahead. While I get that image.
So they're wearing robes. Why are they wearing robes?
I mean,
Zoe Saldana and is that? Yeah, that's why am I blanking on his name? Sam Worthington.
yeah. I mean, it could obviously, yeah, it comes to mind like, ooh, what are they hiding? It could be they could be the temperature control cloaks that they wear. Sometimes, like, that's what somebody said that they could be.
Or
But they could, could just be trying to hide something.
or maybe they're not hiding anything. Maybe this is necessary for what they're trying to capture. And if that's the case, because maybe not, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a temperature thing. But if they are a part of something that they need to be able to capture, what if it's either something ritualistic, or we're going to be exploring the Arctic region a little bit more as well. Like maybe we're passing some colder regions and they need cloaks, or I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to tell. I don't know if you can mocap with it on. Like I said, I don't know if that's just because they're just wearing that just for because then you would have some type of reference on it, right? So like motion dots or motion trackers on it, like on top of it. But who knows?
Just because they're wearing doesn't mean that they're trying to actually capture that. It could also be to help their performance, to kind of feel what a cloak would do in that scenario. But then,
yeah.
And that it does sound really far-fetched when I'm trying to explain it, and it might just be a temperature blanket.
No, I think a lot of people go there where you're going. I think everybody's initial is like, what are they hiding, or are they wearing some type of, is that for the scene itself? It could end up being, the most boring answer where it's just like, oh, that's just like some type of, temperature control thing that they have on at the moment. But we never know. I guess we'll see when the thing comes out. And I finally have it up. So here you go, guys.
You see?
This is the image that you mentioned is now up on the website, and that is a completely different render of the character. Let me show you guys the other one. The other one's not even carrying anything. And like you said, this one here looks more like a Quaritch, right? Like a recon Quaritch.
I think that is Quaritch. That is Quaritch, right?
And I think that, like you said, this was probably the pass before where probably there on the website, they didn't even want to reveal, like you said, that maybe it was Quaritch, and they just have random Ash Clan warrior now number 6 with just carrying another big weapon, and he just looks like another, just another random one. That is very interesting. That's a great eye on that. Great observation. Because that's completely different characters right there.
I'm trying to spot even more differences, but I think everything else is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Wainfleet seems to be the same. I'm calling him Wainfleet because he looks exactly like him. But...
yeah, everything's the same. But yeah, that's crazy that you noticed that. I would never have noticed that, especially because like the emblem's right there. Your eyes like, that's gonna be kind of.
That's why I noticed it, because we were talking about the emblem.
Yeah. That's super fascinating. That there's like like you said, different passes of the same art. Maybe some to hide potential spoilers, while others, up front kind of show them. So that's super interesting. But I think that is all. That is that is all the first path to Pandora, and honestly, that was a lot. So that is insane.
And I'm sure
every month, that's nuts.
I'm sure we could even keep going. Like, there's always things to dissect and talk about. But this was already, like you said, this was a lot, and I'm really glad that we're getting things now. And we even got a little bit of confirmation with the fact that this does seem to be the Cove of the Ancestors. That's really cool as well.
Yeah, and then the fact that we kind of deduced that that emblem kind of looks like Varang. I like that detail as well. I hadn't heard anybody else mention. You pointing out the little difference in the art. And yeah, we deduced a lot from the article itself, a lot of information. Still seemed like superficial, so can't wait to see if further issues kind of dive into more specifics. Like you said, maybe we get a certain actor per issue, a certain cast and crew member. It'll change the perspective a little bit. So yeah, this is going to be fun to follow this path to Pandora. And then, it's obviously going to kick into full gear once we finally get that first teaser. Oh, we're going to dissect the heck out of that. But a few months away.
I can't wait.
This was really fun. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. There's like 222 watching across socials. Thank you so much on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Let's see here, just to finish it off. Some people were saying it looks like in that art where it was a different one, it kind of looked like Lyle Wainfleet. I think every bald Ash Clan Navi were like, that's Wainfleet. Yeah, we're gonna keep cloning Wainfleet. Every bald Navi's.
It's his shape. It's where the ears are and where his eyes are. It's his shape. I swear that's Wainfleet.
Let me put it back while I read some of these comments, because that's kind of fun.
That's not Wainfleet.
Yeah, that's not Wainfleet. This other one, the one on to her left, that kind of looks like Wainfleet. I can tell those ears from a mile away. Oh man, that's so funny. Let's see. Let's see. Glad you guys are doing this. Blah blah blah. The Harry Potter with the Lupin. They're very excited. I think we're gonna see Sute's father in Fire. Oh, that is an interesting thing they pointed out, because in the, I believe it was called the Next Shadow little comic series, it actually went into Sute's family that you didn't see in the first movie, and by the end of it is pretty much his whole family is banished because they tried to overthrow Jake. For anybody that didn't read that little series, took place after the first movie. They try to, because his parents just can't, especially his mom, just doesn't like the fact that Jake is the one who took over. So they actually try to get their other son, I think his name is Arvok, to overthrow Jake. They even have like a combat and everything. And it doesn't work, and they all get banished. But she starts talking to the other son that like doesn't matter, because we know of clans, other other clans that'll take us in. She just hints. I wish I had the proper panel here with the direct quotes, but she even names them. She said there's other clans out in the. I think she said out in the ashes, or something like that. So you're like, whoa. Well, now looking back after the title of Fire and Ash, I was like, wait a minute. And then she even name drops one of the clans. So there's other clans. She said one of the clans.
Oh, interesting.
Was the main one, however you say it, the clan that we now know is the name of Varang's clan. That's supposedly the one that Sute's mother and father know that they can go to, because this clan takes in these type of pretty much banished people. So not only is her clan maybe filled with some natives of that area, but it's also filled with basically the rejected or banished people from other clans. They take in these banished, so you might have an eclectic mix of different type of clans, like Navi types in there, because they come from different clans as well. So, and not till years later did he finally confirm on D23 Brazil, not even the one that was here in the US. In the Brazil one, James Cameron said that same clan name, but he said that was the name for Varang's clan. Everybody went, whoa, we heard that before. So who knows? Maybe you will see the mother and father. I didn't say brother, because he actually was like, you know what? Forget you guys. I'm gonna go my own way. So he left as well, but he I guess he's on his own journey. Maybe we'll never see the brother again, but he did not follow the parents. So
it'd be so interesting.
So yeah, maybe that'll come up in the future, but we don't know. Let's see. Dino Shark says that creature has double stingers, by the way. Oh, it kind of does look like it, right? There at the bottom, like if you follow the tail.
Oh gosh, yeah. Wait, let me look at the anatomy of a stingbat then, because they're incredibly similar. Let me see if the stingbat has the same thing.
I believe we have that other image they had shared through the other. Oh, it is a double. It is like two stingers at the end. You see that?
That's not its. Is that not its legs?
No, not that part. Follow the tail, and the tip of the tail has two tips. It's like a two fork. You see it?
Oh, okay.
You see the other one right below the tip. You see another.
Gosh.
You see you see it from that angle. Whereas if you look at it from here, you see that it is like it's like a two. I don't know what you call that. I don't know if that's still like a fork, but yeah, like a two-pronged attack there, two pincers or whatever you call it. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, a stingbat only seems to have one, so that's cool. That's different.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. I like that how in the description of the picture, they clearly, let me take the comment off. They're just saying, I can't stress how excited I am for this movie. Right there with you, Fire Bros. And good with having fire in your name. Concept art of the Ash Warriors writing Ikran, but it doesn't state what Varang is writing. So the Ash Warriors are writing Ikran, as we do see everybody else is on the Ikran. She's the only one of this new creature, but they specifically do not name it.
That's not a stingbat, that's a sting dragon.
Yeah, so they're saving that. I hope that's something that name is revealed in the future Path to Pandora series as well, so that's good.
We're gonna be waiting for human names and natural names as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Snake Eyes, that creature is a demon.
Oh, poor thing.
I had a nightmare that a poor Ikran got jumped by this thing and was stabbed in the tail. Jesus.
God damn.
Do not have nightmares like that.
Well, we're gonna have nightmares after this movie, I'm sure.
Oh
In a
my God.
great way, though.
Nightfall says, always fun to talk to you guys about Avatar, and we like it too. Sorry that holidays, New Year's, and content drought kind of got in the way, but in 2025, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be back here a lot when it's like big info dumps like this, like every path to
Oh yeah,
Pandora.
for sure. Yeah.
We'll probably do a big live stream like this, going through the article, the pictures, and obviously trailers, and it's gonna get crazy, guys. So get used to seeing us. Uh, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Sinbaja says this might be the greatest YouTube channel of all time. Please
Aww.
never stop doing stuff like this.
Thank you.
Well, and hope are on along for the ride. Jump on our Wind Trader ship, and let's cast off.
Proceed.
This is going to be a crazy year in 2025. So glad to have
Let's
you on
go.
board. But I think that brings this one to an end. Robin, any
Yeah.
last things you want to say before we kind of head out of here?
I'm good. I think if I start talking now, I won't ever stop because there is so much to talk about. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let all of this sink in and probably be making some content about it later. And I think I'm sure we'll be able to get into more of this at a different point as well. Because this is great. If this is already what we're getting within like just an article for 1 month, I can't wait to see what we're gonna get in the next few months, including the teaser and then the trailer, etc. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, because they'll have to be very, very careful about what they reveal, what they share. This, all the months before the teaser. Once the teaser is out, they can probably start getting into a little bit more of the details that we actually start seeing in the footage. And then let alone, those very last ones right before the movie comes out. So they're gonna get more and more spoilerish, or probably more and more info packed as we go along.
Yeah.
But like you said, just this one being the start is already good enough. So
absolutely,
maintain it at this level, and I'm good to go from here. So yeah, I
me
love
too.
that they're doing this. This is awesome. We needed this. We were we needed something. It was a big drought.
A spark for a flame. There we go.
There you go. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in wherever you did. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed going through this article along with us. And we'll be back, of course, with further Path to Pandora's and whatever else comes this year, because it's going to be a doozy. So thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.